down here. Took her to see her first musical, The Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson musical. She enjoyed it. Glad to expose her to theater. We found a fun new beach out in Hudson, Florida. It's a man-made beach called Sunwest Park. It's fun. It's nice. Clear waters. They have a water skiing thing in the middle, and they also have a aqua park obstacle course. Yes, a floating obstacle course you can go on. And it let me know that I'm out of shape. I was getting short of breath on that thing after only a few minutes. Not good, Alex. But it was an enjoyable experience. I'm glad my granddaughter got to play on that. I also had the honor of interviewing her. Yes, I got my granddaughter to be a guest on The Artist Matters. She likes the podcast and wanted to share some of the things she likes to do in her 7 years on this planet. August was one of my favorite months this year. We got to take my granddaughter Lucia to Adventure Island, which is a water park adjacent to Busch Gardens, owned by the same company, of course. And, of course, my stepdaughter, her boyfriend, and my stepdaughter's father came down here to Florida to hang with us and have such a great time. We took them to Sunwest Park. We went to Universal. We haven't been to Universal since 2008, so it was such a great experience to go on rides we've never been on. Got to see the Harry Potter land and have such a wonderful, exciting day. Got wet from rides and rain. I'm telling you guys, if you ever do that Popeye and Bluto's bilge rat barges, you have got to put on a raincoat and cover up your shoes or whatever. You are going to get drenched. Just be prepared. It was nice for a hot day, but you get soggy shoes. So change of clothes unless you have a poncho or something. Still fun and exciting time. I'm so glad we went and went to see my stepdaughter and granddaughter's friends. They moved down here and they're living in Treasure Island. We got to see their house. We got to see another one of my stepdaughter's friends and meet her baby boy. Lots of fun. And of course, we took the family to Busch Gardens for a fun day in the sun and got to get them on all those rides. And that was that. We all went back up to New York the next day. It was quite a memorable week. I'm so glad we got to share all that and be together and create new memories. It was such a wonderful time. At the end of the month, I got to go to the Tampa Bay Theater Festival networking event. Had those business cards ready and mingled and met a lot of theaters and actors and producers and directors. And obviously, I was able to interview two guests, Katie Welch, who runs her theater, and I just interviewed Stacy, who will be your first new interview next year. Can't wait for you to hear her story and check out her theater. And actually, one cute thing we did when we went to Busch Gardens ourselves, my wife and I, as past members, you're entitled to get a Serengeti safari where you get to feed the giraffes. They take you on in a truck and you can feed them romaine lettuce. It was really nice to be close to those creatures, and even the baby giraffes were there. Oh, it was a fun day. All right, moving on to September. We are in September next, and I had to get more interviews going. Of course, I got a lot of people interviewed on the show. I donated my car to Make-A-Wish. I also began reading the book Side Hustle by Chris Guillebeau. He has the podcast called Side Hustle School, where he talks about people's side hustles all across the world and how they make a little extra money and how sometimes that side hustle has become their main source of income. I'm still looking into getting one for myself. It's challenging, but I can get there. I know I can. And one of my biggest achievements to me was interviewing Alex Ferrari. He runs the Indie Film Hustle podcast, and he agreed to do an interview with me on my show. I'm telling you, I'm still blown away. It was a long interview. It was 2 hours, but please check it out. It is like a master class. It was such a great interview, and I'm still blown away that I was actually able to have time with this man, because he's very busy. He's out there hustling and making moves, and a really good voice in the indie film hustle scene. And it's a good podcast. Check it out. I'm still blown away. I can't believe I got to talk with him. That really means a lot to me. And October rolls in. Of course, I celebrated 17 years with my Anna. Wow. Where doth the time go? We went to see the Addams Family animated movie. It was fun. It was different. We enjoyed ourselves. And for the month of Halloween, I was able to secure 4 guests that have Halloween-themed artistic pursuits, skills, talents. And one of them being the son of the late, great Bob Otone, Robert Otone. And I began reading his book. And it's a horror anthology. And it's great to see that he's done this and created this incredible collection. I didn't know he had it in him, and here I am reading his book. So proud of him. And, of course, one of my other big interviews was Sig Neutron. He was a contestant twice on the sci-fi special effects makeup show Face Off, and he won the second time he came back. And he agreed to have me interview. It was so cool, especially learning about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on into making the show. He's a very skilled and fun guy. Check him out. And, of course, I did the craziest thing to myself. I know people call it Inktober, but I just call it my Halloween art challenge, where I churned out 31 days of Halloween-themed art. Luckily, I had some in my pocket. I kind of utilized some of the characters I created here, or drawings I had previously, and just colored them. It was colored pencil all the way. I think that black cat I did was just all marker with colored pencil green for the eyes. But it got challenging. There was times I was reaching 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I haven't churned out anything. Like, I got to get something out here for the next day. Come on. But it really pushed me, and it was a fun challenge. I don't know if I want to do it again, but we'll see. I'm glad I made it through. I got to go to the Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios here in Florida, but I forgot my camera, so I was kind of annoyed with that. Still, it was nice to be in a Star Wars land and see Star Wars themed stuff, see an X-Wing, of course the Millennium Falcon. It's nice to do that. The Smuggler's Run ride. Being in that cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. It really was like a dream come true. And I was in Han Solo's spot. That was nice. And on Halloween, I got dressed up to go to work as a werewolf. It was a funny getup. Glued fur on my hands and my face. So yeah, I wore that for the whole work day. It was fun though. It was quite an enjoyable thing to be dressed up and playing this kind of funny character. I called him Growly. Good way to keep the imagination moving. And then we move on to November. I got in one extra day of Halloween, because on November 1st, my wife and I went to Busch Gardens and experienced Hollow Scream for the first time. She's always been concerned about going to anything like that because she's afraid she's going to punch somebody who scares her. But I'm so glad we did. It was nice to see this park decked out in such a spooky and creepy way, and see all the haunted houses, and see that show Fiends. I love that show. It's a good little musical show and great dancing and choreography. If you go there for Hollow Scream, you must check that out. It is so entertaining. Also, I was able to see Katie Welch's play, Broadway Musical Review. So it was fun to have a little Artists Matters reunion with one of my guests and see her do her thing, direct her little play there. I also had another reunion when I got to see Keith Surplus, who was a guest on the show, and our other friend Star and her daughter Sky in a play called In-Laws, Outlaws, and Other People Who Should Be Shot at Stage West. It was such an enjoyable and touching play. Funny, but had a lot of Christmas spirit. I'm so glad we went to see that and see them. Got to support my artists, people. We got a new addition to our family in November also. A little kitten named Millie. We named her in honor of the incredible actress from Stranger Things, Millie Bobby Brown, who plays Elle. And we did finally get to watch all 3 seasons this year. I never watched the show, but I heard all this buzz about it, and I'm so glad I finally got to see it. Such an awesome show. And Millie is one amazing actress. So we named our kitten after her, in honor of her. Thanksgiving Day, we went to Busch Gardens. It's a little crowded, but doable. It was nice to get on rides and enjoy. I was in shorts on Thanksgiving Day here in Florida. Thank you very much. We did our first ever double feature of movies on Black Friday. Got to see Frozen 2 and Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Same day. Both movies were entertaining and enjoyable. And both Disney. We didn't really plan it that way, but I'm glad we did. It was a nice day out. I also got my copy of the Don't Keep Your Day Job book that Kathy Heller wrote. Finally began reading that book, too. Pretty good so far. If you're a fan of her podcast, it's a definite must-own. And I was also a guest on someone else's podcast, The Paincast. I got to be interviewed by him. It was a nice little interview, which you can check out. I'm glad we got to chat. All right, that brings us to this month, the end of the year. It is, of course, December. And to start off this month, I purchased the Money Principles course by Chris Harder. He runs the podcast For the Love of Money. It's where good people make good money and do great things with it. Very inspiring stories. He interviews a lot of people that, wow, they do a lot with their money, but just their stories are incredible. So I know he was good, and his Money Principles course was a good deal. So I scooped it up, and I'm still doing the course. I'm almost towards the end, but it's been opening up my eyes a lot on getting my money mindset in gear and realizing that abundance is not a goal, but a way of living. You really have to feel it, believe it, and just embrace it. That you have things abundantly happening for you all the time. And I'll just say, one technique I've learned is starting off the morning with gratitude. When you wake up, be thankful for the bed you slept in, roof over your head, electricity in the house. You know, if you need heat to keep you warm this time of year, be thankful for that. Be thankful that you can see, hear, breathe, smell, taste, touch. You have all your fingers and toes. A working car. Be grateful for as much as you can be. And it's a good way to start off the day. I've been doing that now, and it's really helped me realign my mindset. And as always in December, my church puts on a nativity walkthrough. They call it the Road to Bethlehem. And I think it's 5 stages of little scenes they set up where people go on a little tour through Bethlehem and see the story of the Nativity. And I always play Joseph in scene 2, where Joseph has discovered that Mary's pregnant and the baby ain't his. And what is he going to do about it? And of course, I did it twice.